everyone, wherever you are. In this presentation, I will reflect on some practical experiences of introducing cultural heritage to children and youth. The structure of the presentation is as follows. Okay. What are the aspects of cultural heritage that can be tackled or incorporated in the built environment education? Let's first identify between the history or the stories of the past, which are reminders of the events and incidents that are based on facts and evidences, of course, as well as some legends. And between the heritage, which is a thing that is transmitted or acquired from our forefathers and has passed from our previous generations. They are unique and significant to our community, and they define the local culture, hence our identity. So history is the past as a whole, and heritage is a reminder of the past. These are the aspects of B to introduce to children. We start by giving the kids a paper with a table, letting them express what is heritage, also categorize and give examples. What is a monument? Give example for this monument. What about the surrounding area that surrounds the monument? What about the old crafts in this area? What are the accessories, the fashion, the stories, the dictums, the sayings, the riddles, the games? We also talk of food, and we try to remind them with the special food recipes prepared by our grannies at home, making ready homemade jams, juices, special cookies for special festivities. And what about the festivities themselves? What happens in the festivities? What happened in the past? What were the songs? What were the dances? What was the role of each member of the family? And we compare between then and now, and we draw and trigger associated memories. And by the end of this roundtable discussions, kids can then conclude on their own that heritage is a variety of treasured objects and treasured qualities passed down from previous generations or our own predecessors, and that remind us with our very own. And just like this, we keep toggling between the tangible and the intangible, from home to family to neighborhood to district to city to the region. Why the region? Stressing the fact that history can never be studied without geography. Talking of geography, the map is inevitable to be discussed. In our case, it's Egypt. The map can be 2D or 3D according to the age group of the children involved in this session. The start is an identification of the different geographical features, revealing the microclimate, the flora, the fauna, the agricultural products, the domestic crafts, the small industries, the available vernacular building material, the interventions people create to respond to their local climate, how do they achieve privacy, how they govern their communities. Again, images of settlements, width of streets, building heights, building facades, interiors, what people dress and why, how they entertain, what was their vocabulary, did they have a slang of their own, about their games. Each kid is then to pick an area or a region for a mini research. They do at home, and then they come to refill in the previous table for a presentation in the next session. And for academic integrity, of course, we ask them about the references. In addition to the importance of introducing heritage to children, introduction of heritage actually defines what is the meaning of a quality of life. What are the values of well-being? It highly acknowledges the role of the architects, the designers, the planners, and it reveals the interdisciplinarity of the built environment education. The UIA, Architecture in Children Work Program Guidelines, that are published online, there are several mentions of architecture and history and how continuity and change should be part of children's primary, elementary, secondary, and old school education, including the forms of buildings and settlements as evidences of their periods and development. The B guidelines also mentions that the study of heritage and modernity offer the children the value of architecture and heritage in relationship to the new uses of modern architecture. This opens a very objective debate. It helps children create or develop their own criteria for evaluation of the old and new architectural forms and ways of life. Always remember that interactivity, engagement, and reflection on the children's own heritage are the grassroots or the key for the success of any presented material related to this topic. The exercises and tasks, as well as the activities of the sessions, of course, are designed according to the duration available and according to the age group. They range from a one-day itinerary to sketching, to photography, to creating infographic walls, graffiti, sometimes designing maps, sometimes many mini urban interventions, lots and lots of ideas. Here are some examples of different workshops and camps to different age groups covering several cultural heritage aspects. In this case, there is this fictional character, a little boy, who travels to indigenous remote area. This is Nubia in this story. in this book, interactive book. And he learns about the people. They talk a different language than the Egyptian language, and they have their own houses that are totally different. They have their own food, they dress differently, everything they do is totally different. And he learns that they are going to build 10 houses, so they need several people to engage in this participatory building festival. And he goes on and participates, learning about the architecture of Nubia. And when they finish the houses that are made of mud bricks and palm trees with the vaults and mini openings and special patterns on the walls, and the configuration of the house itself, it should have a courtyard and cross ventilation issues and stuff. Then the Nubian society in this village celebrates with special songs and dances and musical instruments, and the kids celebrates with them. Parallel to this, there is this foldable paper house that the young ones enjoy folding and gluing and drawing some patterns and coloring some walls and stuff from what they learned in the story. Sometimes we take serious novels by name authors, and we summarize them and reduce the happenings to basic built environment related features, and we present them to the small children in role-playing mode, plus drawing and coloring and preparing the stage from the buildings that take place, the buildings that appear in the story or the novel. What you see now are some products for board games designed by the students of architecture in collaboration with the children in participatory heritage game workshops. The one example that I will dwell in for a little bit, or I will detail, is a full 4 days festival in a remote village in Upper Egypt called Al-Qurna or El Gurna in Luxor, neighbor to Valley of the Kings and to the Queen Hatshepsut temple. And it's very famous because it was designed and built by the late Egyptian and international architect Hassan Fathi. Most of it is ruined and demolished, and the UNESCO is there to help renovate what is remaining. So we train the high schoolers and the training of trainers, and that is one of my 5 days course specialities. The kids there are about 100 in number, between the age of 0 to 18 or maybe more, and special preparation where we are going takes place. And then we start with warming up activities like music, dancing, physical exercises, jokes, whatever it takes for the children to be at ease with us. Then we follow with a treasure hunt, specially designed and printed A4 maps for the indigenous remaining buildings of the village. Parents and families join, by the way. In each building, we stop and we discuss the building type, how the spaces are designed, how does such configuration help achieve several human aspects that are very important for the village. How does the orientation help the microclimate, the airflow, the shading? Are there any special elements related to the building material? and then we sit down for reflection and sketching, adding a layer of connecting the kids with the buildings. And then we discuss the significance of certain elements, architectural elements there, such as the dome, the buttress, the vault, the factors like privacy, the thick walls, the green bricks, the existence of courtyards, wind suckers, airflows. And then we draw comparisons between the old village and the contemporary one, and this comparison actually highlights and stresses the significance of the old, and it also shows how vernacular architecture responded to the human needs and created a better quality of life. The next activity is the building material. In this case, it's green bricks. So the trainers help the kids develop or make or bake their own bricks. Then the kids design a building type in groups, participatory design build workshops. They design and build one of the building types that is there in the village. With discussions, they demonstrate what they have learned, and voila. Our final session is the reflective circle time, where we also distribute certificates and award all the kids. I would like to also stress the fact that whatever folklore items of songs, stories, dances, shadow show, puppet show, anything signifies the local heritage of the community. It elevates the sense of pride and belonging of the children and of the families as well. Through discussions with children, a strong link is drawn between the sustainable development goals and the cultural heritage. You know, most of our heritage practices, if not all, truly were sustainable. And this has to be studied, and it has to be highlighted for the kids and for the families as well. I hope this was a useful and resourceful presentation, and I hope it was inspiring, and thank you.